again, if you're just now joining us, this is something we'll be doing just about every single night. It's going to be about 4 matches a week, and it's in this Pro League format. There's plenty of stuff for you guys to read. We're having a good time. Hopefully you are as well. We're figuring out the tech issues as we go.
There's no audio. Oh, there is the audio. Never mind.
Was there no audio? That's too bad. I just told you guys my address and invited you all to my birthday party where I'm handing out $1 million wad cash. Sorry. All right. Now you can't go. You're all not invited anymore.
Oh, wow. I mean, I have the address, so...
Sean will be there. Sean and I will have a birthday party with myself. What I was saying is, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, of course, and actually, it's a little bit ironic because what I was saying is we've had a few sound things and that kind of stuff. We're figuring it out, just so you know. This is our first broadcast. It's only going to get better from here, but we do want to thank you for coming in. And one thing to remind you, too, is I did talk about D-Link at the beginning. It's actually as simple as going to SC2LGG.com. Give my producer a thumbs up if I nailed it. Yes, nailed it. And I will nail that so hard as we go forward. But that's going to have that link to get you that discount if you want to check it out and look into it. But of course, it also lists our other sponsors that are making this possible and all the teams. Basically, that's where you go for everything. And I believe that's where VODs are posted. Conrad?
Mm-hmm.
Sean already knows. Sean's my producer now, Conrad. Sit down. Sean's my producer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That just happened. But yes, you can go there, and that'll be the VODs. They're free. Check them out. We know this is a late broadcast, but you're always available to go grab those free VODs. So you actually never missed a broadcast. It's up to you if you did. Sean?
And, yes.
How you doing, buddy?
Jeff, I'm rather excited because it's a ZVT between two players who've been playing RTS game for quite some time. Root Theognis, originally under the name Echo of Terran.
Oh my god, is that his actual original name?
Yeah. You knew him?
I did, dude. That's crazy.
Echo of Terran and Echo of Thunder.
Oh my god.
Played very well, got pretty high up.
That's Brood War X17 days, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Going way back.
And now here he is, playing still strong from Team Root Gaming in the top left. Root Gaming's Theognis.
And his team is up 2-1, so he's coming in at a very important spot. Of course, if their team can reach 4 wins, they will take the match against Team Liquid, which would be a big, big deal. But standing in his way from the Netherlands, it is Liquid Ret. And as you said, both these players have been playing a long time. Liquid Ret recently, and when I say recently, I mean today, topping his WCS Premier group, so he's going to make it into that round of 16. And Theognis, well, I mean, he just came back from MLG where he turned some heads, defeating the Muslim, and I actually defeating In Control as well. No, wait. Nope, never mind. He defeated like I want to say Thorzane, and somehow I confused Thorzane for me, but maybe that's a weird.
I got so confused. It was like,
yeah,
he defeated me. Nah, maybe he didn't defeat me.
No.
I was like, I thought you. Were you there?
It's like a sick, subtle brag. It's like, no, actually, I turns out I beat him. I misremembered. No,
or there's an alien that stole your skin and went there and maybe got eliminated, and you're trying to live up because the alien has your family held hostage.
I think in my dreams I am Thorzane, so I think that's what ended up happening. I dream in Thorzane, basically.
Oh, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Right now, taking the natural expansion at the typical timing, we see no gas out of Theo, and that's something that's a little surprising to me because, I mean, most often you actually see Terran players going for the 15 or 16 gas, not delaying it this much.
And Ret's the guy that's going to, again, save us from our insanity. He's doing what I feel like is the modern ZVT meta. Like, this is the build that I see most frequently. The gas gives you access to speedlings, which allow you to be responsive to any number of Reapers. But then again, with that kind of weaker Hellion follow-up, you're going to be the guy in the driver's seat, able to overpower them with ling numbers, but then also get access to Roaches, which is really the bane of the existence of Terran players right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny how it's just all been, like, thrown on its head. I mean, traditionally the matchup was, you know, Wings of Liberty about the Terran player playing defensively and then doing one big push. And now it's the Zerg player playing defensively because Terran's being aggressive the whole time in the late game. And in the early and mid game, it's the Zerg that's springing forward with huge swaths of Roachling. So hope to see a lot of that. But, you know, I feel like even though the modern mix is to go for a whole bunch of Roaches, I feel like Red's still just going to go Spire and go Mutas because that's just in his blood.
He is a traditionalist. I will say this, though. While I fully agree with you, Rhett has been known, even back in the Wings of Liberty days, to go for that Roach Baneling bust. And that is so in style right now in ZVT. So you're right. His mainstay has always been, strong Mutalisk standard play. But in a best-of-1 format, is it enough temptation for Rhett to try to go for that Roach Baneling bust? We'll have to see, I guess.
Now it looks like the Devil Gas is down, so it looks like a little bit more of an old-school style, but again, we're seeing that Theo is able to get a lot more lings up. This is why players have been enjoying delaying their gas, because, I mean, these busts are just such a pain in the ass nowadays. Rhett, is he actually getting a 4th queen? No, he's just getting a 3rd queen. I keep seeing that queen get canceled and restarted. It looks like Rhett can't quite decide what he wants to do with it.
Yeah, he's just opting for the 3rd queen for right now. Worth noting is this is Daybreak, and that is one of the most played maps you'll ever see, especially in modern map pools.
Yeah.
So I think Day 9, well, I just got you confused with Rhett. I think that's cool. I think Rhett would be reaching into the bag of traditional builds, I would say. This map is very figured out in that way. Again, with Heart of the Swarm in the metagame where it's at right now, it's like Hellbats, of course, and Widowmine bioplay you have to be concerned with, and that will change what you do, but in the early game, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, most Zerg's openings are scripted, and the only real challenge is deciding what you want your scout timings to be.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why players don't go for double gas the way that Theo's been going for is that there's not a really good way to spend the gas from 2 geysers. There's a great way to spend it from 1 geyser, and that's just to get a single factory and a reactor.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like Theo is actually doing something totally weird.
Yes, the Widow Mines right here are very strange. Oftentimes, this will be Hellbats, or like you talked about earlier on Neoplanet S, maybe Hellions then followed by Hellbats. But Widow Mines this early on, like, you don't need them for Mutalisks. They're not great defensively, just because, while they'll kill, like, as much as a few Lings or a Roach or 2, you'd be better off with a tank? I don't know.
I mean, maybe he wants to apply pressure? I mean, it's kind of a weird position, because Rhett's gone in there, he's scouted the tech lab. He scouted everything. I mean, 7-minute suicide timing, very common in this matchup to just get in there. So, looks like Rhett's just going, all right, well, I'm fine. So he just builds 2 Evo chambers. Actually doesn't wall anything. There's a huge gaping hole on, like, every side of those Evo chambers. But, I mean, Rhett's going to be safe. He's getting up his roaches. We're seeing the medevac pop out.
It is going to be Widowmine drop. 4 Widowmine drop.
Whoa.
Very unusual.
Transition back. I think he's actually going to go bio.
You think so? He just put the tech lab on the tank, or excuse me, on the factory, and he doesn't have a tech lab upgrading bio.
Wow.
But you're right. There's double engineering bay, so this is definitely a Theognis special, I would say. I haven't seen this before.
Wow, this is so weird. Looks like he's going to try to find a vulnerable location that actually does not have any sort of spore crawlers. But the problem is that spore crawlers just do not detonate any of the mines.
Yeah, he's being very picky about this drop. There goes 1 Widow Mine, and it will get down, but that's right next to a Spore Crawler, actually, so...
Looks like he's gotten 1 drone, and he's... Oh, what? Oh my god! He picked off 7 drones with that 1 Widow Mine. He brought it right on the ramp.
Good placement. He's actually up to 12 right now, so he's gotten a lot of drones. And you know what? One of the pains of these Widow Mines, it's not necessarily the direct damage they do. A lot of times you're running your drones around just because of the space they occupy, and that's exactly what's happening right now.
Well, it looks like Rhett has managed to clean it up. I don't really know if that was an amazing Widow Mine play. I mean, the Widow Mines are sort of biffing on Overlords right now, but Rhett, per usual, going for Spire. 1-1 upgrades for the Lings. 3rd base down. I mean, Ling Muta Baneling. Very, very effective against the Biomine style, but it looks like Theo isn't even going for it. He's just going for more standard Marine Marauder tank.
Yeah, I mean, this is tried and true. I do like the double upgrades. It's something that's become especially common in Heart of the Swarm. In Wings of Liberty, we saw it for sure, but there's a little bit more emphasis on the Mutalisk play. You'd see as many as like 30 or, sometimes, I guess, 40 Mutalisks. Just a lot is the point. Whereas in Heart of the Swarm, we'll still see a good number of Mutalisks, but it's oftentimes a faster transition into Ultralisk to really take advantage of the fact that a lot of times the Terran player features Widow Mines and Marines, not great against Ultralisk.
Yeah, I mean, definitely that's going to factor into their mid-game considerations, thinking about those end-game things, as you say, like the upgrades for, wow, Theo's actually going for double Tech Lab. Looks like he wants to make sure that he is prepared to deal with the roaches. Very often you'll see players go for single Tech Lab and just declare, nope, not going to attack for like an hour. Gonna wait for stim and combat shield to be done, but Theo is now going for the armory. His 1-1 is nearing completion. I mean, this is overall nice timing from Theo.
Yeah.
Has the Overlord up in the Viking up in the top left, killing off Overlords. Rhett's taking another base. I think that Rhett needs to begin expanding a lot more aggressively once he sees that it is, in fact, a dedicated tank play.
A lot of times when the Meatless are about to pop out, that's your double expand time. I know that's much more common in ZVP, but you'll still see it in ZVT. I just think Rhett's playing this much more cautiously. He's probably not very aware of what kind of player Theognis is. He's a little bit more of an unknown, as you were pointing out earlier on.
I mean, nothing too magical about what Rhett's doing. He's just spreading the creep very well, macroing nearly perfectly, getting everything up pretty swiftly. I mean, this is just classic strong Rhett play, but here's Theo erupting with the modern speed medevac harassment.
Yeah, and he's actually going after a bit of a double drop right now. Top left seems to be getting ignored. So that hatchery should go down. Theognis has not stimmed just yet. And this is actually an unstimmed snipe of the hatchery. The double drop inside the main did not do anything, but I believe it got away safely. So Theognis is off to a really good start here, even enjoying a supply advantage of somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the way that ZVT used to work. You used to be trying to get your hive up, so that way you could have Ultralisks by the time that 14 or 15-minute push kicked in. But I mean, now there's just like a whole bunch of Ling Muta, which ordinarily is not that great, but thanks to the fact that the Mutalisks now move with that speed 4 and regen so fast, I think that Rhett is going to be in good position. He just needs to be a little bit more conservative with his Expo placement and his Overlord placement. He's going to try to sneak in that bottom right side.
One kind of lasting effect of that Widowmine opening, I feel, is perhaps Rhett's a little bit cautious about going on the Terran side of the map just because of the potential of getting hit by those Widowmines. And once again, another fourth base is canceled. Meanwhile, there's a move out in the middle of the map.
Wow, these are really nice by Theo. He's starting to stockpile up an enormous number of tanks. Big surround, but he just lifts up. And he's going to be able to dart right on out of there.
And that boost will get him out there. A little bit of a reinforced run-in of Marines does die essentially for free. The Mutalisks do catch up to those Mutalisks. Or excuse me, to those medevacs, which are now slowing down. Huge damage being done. Meanwhile, there is a drop behind the third base of Rhett, but that will get cleaned up quite nicely. And Theognis took all of our pretty little shiny compliments, and I believe he dashed them on the floor as he's now down 20 supply. He's not out just yet, but that was certainly a bad turn of events. Yeah, and he's not actually getting the +2 armor upgrade. I mean, that's one of those classic, tournament jitters feelings where it's so easy to get distracted. And looks like Theo has decided that he is going to be transitioning back into that biomine play. Yeah, kind of an interesting way to do it. I think the tanks were, I don't know, I guess he's running, just being safe against a roach play, but certainly you want the Widowmines for this kind of composition. Rhett is actually going to morph in a bunch of Banelings over here with his Mutalisks. I felt like he accidentally canceled top left. There's no real reason for him to have done that. It does go down just again, so a little bit of an error, but that does get fixed.
Ling's moving down. Theo catches it at a good angle. He needs to recognize and pull back. He starts to retreat. Will he be able to get the big tank blast off on those Banelings? He needs to target. He needs to target. And he does. He gets some huge hits off. But it looks like the Marine Marauder from the south side is trying to continually micro. There's a couple more Banelings that are going to work their way forward. Theo has plummeted down to 130 supply. Rhett still hanging strong at 160. I mean, Rhett really seems to be crushing in this mid-game scenario. But here comes the Thor with Marine reinforcement. I mean, the Thor, we haven't seen that in this matchup in years.
No, we have not. It's coming out because I feel like it's just all hands on deck right now. He needs whatever he can get in terms of anti-air. The Mutalisks just simply skirt away from the Widowmines. It looks like Theognis will eventually push this back as he does have Widowmines in place and now Marines coming out. But again, he doesn't have a fourth base. A lot of Mutalisks do go down there. That's quite nice for Rhett. He needs to be careful. Rhett is trickling in a lot of reinforcements right now, though. But that supply differential did close up there. I felt like that was a really good attack for Rhett, and then he pushed it just a little bit too far. But I think he secured a big enough advantage for himself.
It's so easy to do with, the Mutilaying, so easy to do against Biomine, where you're pushing in, dealing a lot of damage, and then 1 or 2 Mind Blasts go off, and you're like, yeah, maybe this wasn't a good idea, and you pull back. And Foreign Fester is en route. He's getting vehicle plating. Really cool adjustment that a lot of people have been doing. Can't upgrade mine damage, but you can help those mines stay alive a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And actually transitions pretty well nicely, too, later if you do decide to go, like, Ravens and Battlecruisers. We have a little bit of a Ling counterattack over at the third base of Theognis. He does have a well-placed bunker, but this gas is getting harassed. Just really nice awareness from Rhett. Really good awareness here.
Yeah, Rhett just seems to... He works a lot like an Overmind. He can actually just continually maneuver all the units around at once and never really lose track of them. I mean... Theo now trying to push up to the top left side. I mean, it's not even a drop. It's just a small, naked force. He's going to run in there. He's going to pick off some drones.
It's a good way to buy time, and he also gets to see the Ultras there for free. I think that's, I mean, I don't want to be too nitpicky, but a little bit silly. And we actually have a Marine Widowmine push out here. This seems like Lamb to the slaughter. I mean, the Widowmines are going to get some good connections, and then, oh my gosh, Rhett, a little bit sloppy. Even some Infestors going down there, and all of a sudden,
oh my god,
I don't know what possessed Rhett to do that. That was really weird, to be honest with you. And he doesn't even have an Overseer there, Day9, so it's like they just sit there. They might get another volley off.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, he's just sitting
there. He's just sitting there. What are you doing? Why?
There's the Overseer coming up now, and oh my god, in the nick of time.
That was almost really weird.
With literally seconds to spare. And these aren't regular seconds, these are Blizzard seconds. So with like milliseconds to spare. And the drop in the main base, Theo's gonna pick off the spawning pool that's so huge.
Yeah.
The spawning pool, the Zerglings are the only units fast enough to wrap around and pick off the drops, to surround any retreating forces, and now he cannot build any of them.
Theognis is putting on a show, Sean. This is really beautiful play. Right now, Rhett is just getting out multitasked. I mean, a few times, Rhett really took it to Theognis, but all of a sudden with I don't know, better multitasking in Theognis' corner, the mistakes of Rhett are starting to kind of shine through.
And it looks like that drop in the main base has managed to pick off all the Mutalisks and more. 3-2 upgrades done. And look at this amazing positioning with this half-built command center. We're seeing this Bile just pull back farther and farther. Huge fungal on all those Marines, but I don't even think it matters. I mean, the Ultralists are trying to step in, trying to pick off the Planetary Fortress. I mean, he's not even repairing with all the SCVs. He's like mining with some. He's like, now we'll clean up some.
It looks like he'll still get the Planetary because that's basically what Ultras are bred to do. But Sean, I asked you at what cost? Because once again, that drop is inside the main. It's going for that dark... okay, I almost called it a Dark Spire. I know it's not that. Anyways.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It will die. Greater Spire does die. There are a lot of mines still in the middle of the map killing reinforcements. And Theognis is once again pushing out. He is down in supply, though, so it still could be Rhett's game.
I mean, Red is playing really well, but he has to build a lot of Ultralists right now and nothing else. He's up to 10 Ultralists, 2 more en route. Amazing splits by Theo, who's just picking off these Ultralists one at a time, but he still has to retreat because there's just still too many of them. And right now, look at this. Oh my god, Theo doesn't have any money in his main. His Natural's almost mined out. His third's running a little dry too. So suddenly Theo only really has 10 medevacs, 16 Marines, and 4 Marauders.
He's against the ropes, and he knows the key to success here is to keep Rhett out of his side of the map because he has an orbital command center bottom right. He's remaking a command center in the middle of the map. He really doesn't have defensive power, but if he can keep trading Marines for really important tech structures and units on Rhett's side of the map, then he's going to trade favorably.
And here he pushes up. Uh-oh, Rhett seems to have just barely found the Infestors in time to force the retreat. Overlords from Rhett moving out. I think this is the smartest move Rhett has made all game long, getting Overlord speed, sending them out. Doesn't even matter if there's mines there to pick them off. Good, let him. We'll gain a little bit of extra benefit from that. Theo, Theo on the bottom right. His Expo gets spotted.
It does get spotted, but meanwhile, there's actually a massive army movement coming out from Rhett. Theognis did not expect this. His Widowmines are just actually walking right past it. The Planetary Fortress is not complete just yet. He needs to make amazing defense because behind this, he's actually killing the top left base and dropping the main. It's a bit of a base trade situation, but how does he handle these Ultralists?
I don't think he can. I mean, right now, the money in the bank for Rhett is so huge. Theo's having to pull back to his third base, and it looks like the Hive is down to 25%, 10%, and gone.
I think you nailed it. It's the bank. Rhett has like 4,000 minerals. Meanwhile, it's literally pocket change for Theognis. Rhett's going to pull back because he realizes all the mining bases of Theognis are sacked right now. Bottom right is lifted in fire burning. I mean, the only thing Theognis really has going for him is he has killed the main, so a lot of the tech is gone.
Well, it looks like he's going to take out the 4th and the 3rd, maybe? I mean, he's dropped like 7 spots at once. He's picked off the Baneling Nest. He still hasn't picked off the spawning pool, but some nice micro. Managed to keep that alive. No way to micro against that many investors. Those get picked off.
That does end up dying, but you were exactly right, actually. It's the bank. I mean, we're looking at Rhett's bases, and they're all bleeding and long-distance mining or just not there because they're dead. But Rhett's the guy with the Swiss bank account that he's pulling in out of right now. Meanwhile, Theognis is calling up all of his aunts and uncles and saying, yo, I need like $25 to get groceries this week. Can you help me out?
I mean, right now, Rhett storming forward, mines are placed pretty nicely. And there's some huge connections, but I mean, he is up against the true Swarm Zerg. I mean, Rhett just doesn't even care. He's marching Infestors right through the minefield. He can rebuild them.
Yep.
The bank is getting low for Rhett, but that's because he has 8 Ultralisks in production.
And Rhett is on his final victory march. He's pulling into the only mining base of Theognis. There is the GG. Theognis will tap out. Sean, one thing I want to draw attention to, you had talked about the smart decision to get Overlord speed. I don't know if you said this. I apologize if you said this, but another cool thing that we're seeing from the speed Overlords, they were actually triggering a lot of the Widow Mines as that game went on, which I thought was a really cool thing that Rhett was doing.
It's so great because, I mean, you want to check the location. What's the positioning of the Marine Marauder? Is there anything here? And if there's mines, great. I needed to clear those out anyways.
So pretty incredible play, ladies and gentlemen, and that does mean that with Rhett's heroic defense of the overachieving Theognis, I mean, I do have to say, tip of the hat to Theognis because, again, this is a guy that when people talk about the NA scene, they don't mention his name. And I feel like with performances like this, people will start to recognize what kind of powerhouse Root does have with little no-names like Theognis putting on this kind of display of skill. But it's all tied up. It's 2 apiece, 2-2, which means we're going to go into our next match, which is going to be Tasia from Team Liquid and Yu-Gi-Oh! From Team Root. So there's that special rule here. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was selected to play twice, which means if this goes to an ace match, he will not appear there in this best of 7, Sean.
I'm so thrilled that we are going to be able to get to this match. For you. Okay. I'm so pumped. Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus Tasia. I mean, these are the 2 ace players. It's
going to be an amazing match. So, ladies and gentlemen, that means we're going to take a quick commercial break, but please don't go anywhere because I do mean quick. It's not going to take long. We'll see you soon.